Watch out, Elon's got a chainsaw.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
And get ready, D.C. You're next in line behind Canada.
I think that we should govern District of Columbia. It's so important, the D.C. situation. I think that we should run it strong, run it with law and order, make it absolutely flawlessly beautiful. And I think we should take over Washington, D.C., make it safe.
D.C. got their first mayor in 1975. Before that, Congress controlled the Capitol. Now Trump wants it, which would make him the first mayor president ever, unless Stephen Miller wants to be the Duke of Washington. Musk's satisfied with merely being tech support, and if Musk fails, so does America.
You know, I grew up in South Africa, but my morality was informed by America. I read comic books, you know, played Dungeons and Dragons, and I watched American TV shows, and it seemed like America cared about being the good guys, you know, about doing the right thing. And that's actually pretty unusual, by the way. And so I was like, yeah, you know, you want to be this good, you want to be on the side of good, you want to care about what's right.
Elon and the Brainiacs, sounds like a band, have been given unfettered access to the government's back office. Doge is in God mode, and there isn't anywhere they won't go.
We do want to look. I mean, we hope everything's fine with Fort Knox, but we're going to go to Fort Knox, the fabled Fort Knox, to make sure the gold is there.
Where would the gold have gone?
If the gold isn't there, we're going to be very upset.
And Big Balls is going to Ukraine.
It's also time to find out what happened with all the money, because he made the statement that half of it he doesn't know where it is, or something like that. And I'd like to find out all the money that we've been sending to Ukraine, where is it?
Doge is sniffing around Ukraine, Fort Knox, the IRS, the Pentagon. I think it's pretty obvious now why they wanted Trump dead or in jail. And the CIA is on the clock for releasing files on JFK, RFK, and MLK. So get ready for some March Madness. Stacey Abrams is about to get doged. Right after she lost her last election, she started a climate group with a bunch of other people. You know, if you're a Democrat, gotta have a climate charity. Well, it started out with just $100. Couldn't raise a penny. Then Biden comes in and voila, they donate $2 billion to this brand new group. What does Stacey Abrams know about the climate? She's an erotic thriller writer who lives outside of Atlanta. Has Stacey Abrams ever even gone hiking? I don't know. She just doesn't strike me as a nature enthusiast. Did Stacey Abrams plant any trees with the money? Did she pick up any litter? Well, we can't find any evidence that this group did anything for the climate. Trump's guys are trying to claw back the cash, but that is a lot of money. And this is how the game works. Democrats launch 501c3s. Their friends in D.C. send them our money, and then they hire their cousins, pay all themselves fat salaries, and use the money to travel first class, of course, to climate summits and pay Al Gore to speak at their events. Everywhere you look in Washington are deals like this.
Waste is pretty much everywhere. People ask, like, how can you find waste in D.C.? I'm like, look, it's like being in a room, and this target, the wall, the roofs, and the floor are all targets. So it's like, you're going to close your eyes and go shoot in any direction. Because you can't miss, you know?
Elon's showing up with a chainsaw, and he's holding D.C. hostage to get your money back. And Trump loves the idea.
Elon Musk is proposing potentially giving money to Americans based on what Doge is finding. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I love it. A 20% dividend, so to speak, for the money that we're saving by going after the waste and fraud and abuse and all of the other things that are happening. I think it's a great idea.
How much money do you think Americans...
Could be a lot. I mean, if it's 20%, would give back a lot of money to the taxpayer. And also would give an incentive for the taxpayer to go out and report things to us where we can save money.
Democrats are saying, not so fast. That's not your money. That's our money.
President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from Doge back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
No, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you if you are unable to find a job, because I am telling people we are headed towards a recession.
The Democrats saying $5,000 won't do anything for you are the same ones who said your house just burned down in Maui. Oh, here's $750. Crockett used to love checks.
Crap for them daggone stimmy checks. That is my message.
Right.
Because again, I just explained to you the co-equal branches of government.
Right.
It was Nancy Pelosi who was running the House at the time, not Bag of Mike, but Nancy. It was Sister Nancy.
Right.
You need to thank Nancy.
We had to print money to send out those checks. With the Doge stimmy, we don't have to. It's a rebate check. They took it from you and you're getting it back. People in North Carolina, the Pacific Palisades, Maui, they could use a check right about now. Even the bureaucrats who were laid off could use the rebate. But this little senator, not so young Sheldon, says giving Americans back their own money is a crime.
I would analogize this to a smash and grab robbery. And speed is to your advantage when you're the smash and grab robber. And doing as much destruction as you can quickly is to your advantage when you're the smash and grab robber.
Now they care about smash and grabs. Shelley Sheld did the smash and grab himself. He taxed you, said he was going to build roads and bridges here, and then just gave Juan a sex change in Guatemala. We didn't vote for sex changes in Guatemala. Joe Biden never campaigned on that. Congress sent COVID money to a school in California. They said, screw hand sanitizers and new laptops. They spent $400 grand renting out a Major League Baseball stadium for graduation. For social distancing, maybe, I don't know. There it is, Angel Stadium. These people don't care how hard you work to make that money. They'll just waste it like that. No respect.
People ask me, what's the most surprising thing that you've encountered when you go to D.C., when you're in D.C.? And I said, well, the most surprising thing is the scale of the expenditures and actually how easy it is to, when you add caring and competence where it was absent before, you can actually save billions of dollars, sometimes in an hour. They really lack empathy for the average taxpayer who's working hard, paying taxes, and then they say, oh, $1 million doesn't matter. I'm like, I think it matters a lot.
The only thing Primetime's discovered where we said, okay, well, you know what? This probably had an impact, these Doge cuts so far. So far, there were longer lines to get into a few national parks. And the locksmith got laid off at Yosemite, and someone got locked in the bathroom. So it took him a while to get out. How do you get locked in the bathroom? Never mind. Americans are getting laid off all the time in the private sector. Mass layoffs. The Washington Post just laid off 4% of its workforce. Are fired writers being interviewed on 60 Minutes? No. Southwest Airlines just laid off 15% of its workforce. And that's like the one airline that hasn't crashed. What's the difference? Well, the left thinks government workers are more important than workers in the private sector. They believe government workers do more for the country, and the country couldn't survive without them. So this is a test, all right? If Doge kills America, I was wrong, and I'll admit it. But if next year America's still here, the left owes me an apology. We'll just add it to the list. Their new hoax is that now Musk is a Putin puppet.
People like sometimes like
to end this war.
Say like, I'm a bought asset of Putin.
Yeah.
I'm like, he can't afford me.
I think you're worth more than Russia.
Think about it.
You can't buy the richest man in the world, and that's what drives Democrats nuts. Can't buy him, can't shame him, can't cancel him. You can't debank him. And the world's richest man is teamed up with the world's most powerful man. Now Trump has the Secret Service. He should be in good shape, we hope, we pray. But Democrats are making things dangerous for Elon. The other day, a Tesla dealership was vandalized. Pam Bondi just launched Operation Whirlwind, and anyone slinging threats at Elon will be held accountable. Chuck Schumer's already gotten letters from the Justice Department. There's nothing tyrannical going on here, and if there is, That's what we pay lawyers for. America's heartthrob, Stephen Miller, gave the press a civics lesson. Listen.
It is true that many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent and was not running the country. It is also true that many people in this room who have used this talking point that Elon is not elected fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a brief civics lesson. A president is elected by the whole American people. He's the only official in the entire government that is elected by the entire nation. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff to then impose that democratic will onto the government. The threat to democracy, indeed the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenured civil servants who believe they answer to no one.
Trump can hire whoever he wants. It's not like Biden, who flew his son all over the world in a government jet and shook down foreign nationals for access. Elon has a nose for this. He's a computer science wizard, a turnaround artist, and he's pretty good with numbers.
I'll tell you a lesson I learned at PayPal. You know who complained the loudest, and the quickest and the loudest and with the most amount of righteous indignation? The fraudsters. That's who complained first, loudest, and they would generally have this immense overreaction. That's how we knew they were the fraudsters. That's how we knew. There's to tell.